On this episode of the Exactly How podcast and YouTube show, we uncover how to reverse engineer your goal, how to identify your client avatar, and determine how many deals it will take to get to your goal so you can make your goal your reality.
You're listening to the Exactly How podcast, where you'll hear the underground, closely guarded wealth building secrets of successful people around the globe. Discover exactly how to improve your mental, physical, and financial health. Feel better, make more money, live, give, and prosper in today's exciting, fast-paced world filled with opportunity for those who know exactly how.
Welcome to the Exactly How podcast and YouTube show, brought to you by Connected Investors. And on this episode, you're going to discover exactly how to creatively invest in real estate for passive income. For those of you who are new, my name is Sean Young, today's host and proud member of the Connected Investor community. Now, before I introduce you to our incredible guest speaker today, I want to make a request that if at any point in the show you like what you're hearing, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the show so that you don't miss an episode. And make sure to take a look in the description of this episode as we've packed it with thousands of dollars in free resources. Today, we have the privilege to learn from a man who has created a thriving real estate business all on his own. Prior to his career in real estate, he worked in the medical device sales field for 10 years before quitting in 2012. All that changed when he realized that he did not want to work for someone else for the rest of his life. Now, guys, I would describe our next guest as energetic. I want to introduce you to the one, the only, Jason Pero. Jason, thanks for being a guest on today's show.
Thanks for having me, Sean. I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. Now, before we dive into exactly how to creatively invest in real estate for passive income, Jason, you contribute a lot of your success to maintaining a positive mindset. Why do you think this has played such a big role in your success?
Well, for one, I think what you focus on expands, and without a positive mindset, you'll quickly be drawn into negativity, self-defeating thoughts, and just not be able to achieve your potential. So I think a positive mindset is half the battle in any entrepreneurial journey.
That is a theme that I'm hearing a lot, Jason, is that, mindset is the first step of really diving into our industry, because like you're saying, if you're not equipped mentally, it's going to be pretty tough because it's an easy, it's simple to do our industry, but it's not easy to follow through with the steps on a consistent basis to make that happen. Would you agree?
I would agree. And to have longevity in the business, there's anything and everything can go wrong, and things that you can't control. But the only thing you can control is your mindset and how you approach whatever situation comes your way.
Absolutely. Now, guys, what makes the Exactly How Financial Freedom podcast and YouTube show unique is that every show comes with a detailed action plan. We pull the steps out of each show, create a blueprint on how to exactly implement what we've covered. Now, guys, all you have to do is head on over to connectedinvestors.com/free to get the key takeaways and the resources and all the free gifts that Jason has generously allowed us to give to you. So as millions of people know, Connected Investors is a social network of real estate investors and a marketplace of investment properties. Now, in the description of this video, I've included a link to this episode's forum. Tap that link, ask me and other pros questions, and see what investors are saying about this episode. Plus, you're going to get our free training right now. You can also text the word exactly to 910-600-0630. I'll repeat that again, guys. That's exactly to 910-600-0630. Now, this is exactly how I make my money, guys. You can find properties in any town for pennies on the dollars. I use this software each and every day. Now, Jason, let's dive into the steps to creatively invest in real estate for passive income. Now, before the show, we broke it down into 3 steps. The first step was reverse engineering your goals. Step number 2 is identifying your client avatar and determine how many deals it takes to get to your goal. And number 3 was your daily focus on your goals to make it a reality. So can you give us a little bit more about reverse engineering your goals, step 1?
Sure. So I think, everybody's got a different goal. Some people want to leave their day job. Some will want, extra income for retirement. So it's really important to see what it is you want a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But keep in mind, and one of the traps I fell into early on in this business was thinking that those had to be static. Your goals can change, you know, daily, monthly. You know, you're going to alter them as you achieve and get closer to one goal. You'll create new ones. Don't overthink it. Just think about, you know, what does your life look like financially if you're looking for financial freedom. So is that $5,000 a month, $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, whatever that is? Put that goal out there and figure out what you need to do in terms of deals to create that passive, that income every month. So, you know, if it's $10,000 per month and you can, you know, if you can buy a duplex and net $500 a month, for instance, then you would need 20 duplexes to, you know, to achieve that cash flow of $10,000 a month to be quote unquote financially free. Or it might be you have income to invest, and you want to participate in syndications. So, you know, maybe you invest X amount of dollars every year to receive passive income through a syndication. So really you know, breaking down, you know, the types of real estate investments you want to participate in, and then what volume of those investments gets you to your goal, and map that out in a journal, on a piece of paper, an Excel spreadsheet, whatever you're comfortable with, but try your best to put deadlines on those, because once you put it on paper, it becomes real, and the universe will conspire in your favor to make it happen.
Indeed. I like they say, you know, what you focus on, you know, that's where your energy goes. So
Yeah.
if you're not focusing on that, you know, how can you, you know, expect any type of results if have no idea, you're not focused.
Exactly.
So focus would definitely be the key there. That's awesome, Jason, excuse me. So that jumps, you know, right into step number 2, which would be identifying your client avatar to determine exactly how many deals it takes to get your goal. So you kind of touched on that a little bit as well, but can you dive into that just a little bit more?
Sure. So when I talk about a client avatar, that can be multiple things. One could be from the deal perspective. You know, maybe you're really good at connecting with mom and pop real estate investors. That could be anybody who owns a portfolio of single family homes up to, you know, some old dog who owns, you know, hundreds of units of multifamily. But identify that type of that avatar, that type of property that you want to invest in. What does that look like, feel like, smell like, taste like, you know? And but then also, from your investor standpoint, are you self-funding your deals? Are you working with private investors, passive investors, partners? And as you dig down into, you know, creating that avatar, is, you know, maybe you're identifying a private investor. You know, is it a high income earner, such as a doctor, lawyer, or business person that has extra income to invest? Is it somebody who's saved up a bunch of money in their IRA, who's looking to invest that in non-traditional ways, such as real estate? So really just trying to create a description or an avatar of the type of person you would, that you would want to work with or affiliate with. You know, in our case, from a partnership or a passive investor standpoint, a lot of our investors are physicians. And I went through this exercise several years ago. It was a natural fit for my wife and I, as we worked in the medical field, and you know, that those were our clients. But then, you know, just growing up and getting older, and some of our friends are physicians, and we sort of speak the same language in a certain sense. And I said, well, I think I can convey my real estate deals in a way that makes sense to a physician and speak that same financial language. And so, you know, we sort of created almost, say, like a dating profile or something like that. You know, ideal, you know, age 40 to 70, you know, net worth of X amount of dollars, like, you know, highly educated, XYZ. And when we created that, it doesn't mean that every investor is a physician, you know, far from it. But it allowed me to kind of think about the type of person that I'm going to be conversing with about our investments. You know, from a deal standpoint, you know, 15 years ago, it was buying 4 units and 2 units and 6 units, and we would identify, you know, the part of town, the type of tenant that we were trying to attract, the price point we were investing in. Now, you know, it's a different model. It's you know, hey, we're looking at, you know, 150 unit apartment complexes in this other zip code with this price point and this type of tenant. But I think it makes sense to have a clear vision of what you want to buy, who you want to partner with, or how you're going to pay for that investment, and the type of income that you would receive on the back end or front end of those deals, so that you can model out your your income stream or income goals.
I mean, that is awesome. That definitely ties right into what you were saying about trying to understand, reverse engineering the process. So basically, you're finding the client base, you're figuring out exactly what they want, then you're going out there and you're delivering it for them. So
Yeah.
instead of you making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and saying, hey, I've got peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you're actually going to people who said, Jason, I'm looking for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you're providing them with what they look for. So that makes it, the transaction a whole lot, easier from start
Mm-hmm.
to finish. So Jason, you also mentioned, daily focus on goals to make it a reality. What type of daily, focus does it take for someone to, have success in this field?
Yeah. Well, I think when you're starting out, it's really important to, let me back up. One of the things that I changed my life in this business, we used to just kind of go at it and said, well, we'll buy anything that comes our way. And, that was 15 plus years ago. Had a manager at one of my day jobs at the time that they were really big on personal development and just kind of showed me that world of Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn and all of these, success principles and taught me how to goal set and journal. And so I think what you have to find is what works for you. So what worked for me, 12, 13, 14 years ago was journaling, writing down what my life was going to look like. I wanted to get to X amount of units by 2020. I said 1,000 units by 2020, and next week we're closing on a deal that'll push us over 1,000 units. Even a couple of years ago, I thought there's no way that'll ever happen. How is this even possible? But, so now I'm thinking, man, I didn't push my goal far enough. But the idea would be that, focusing on, so at the time I was obsessive. I would, if I was, working in medical sales, I would be in the operating room in between surgeries, and I'd do my paperwork for work, but then I'd be sitting there journaling about real estate, journaling about leaving my day job. And I would just do that. I would just obsess about my goal daily. I'd force feed myself personal development. It was, at the time it was audio CDs. I don't think podcasts really became a thing until a few years later, but I was just buying every audiobook I could and every devouring personal development, trying to apply those principles, trying to apply those lessons into how I was going to create that life that I, fill in the pieces to that big goal. We reverse engineered it, but filling in those gaps. And so, I think some people swear by the miracle morning. They can get up early and do all this routine. I'll be honest, I'm still sleeping by the time people have gone through their miracle morning, but that may work for somebody. So don't be afraid to try different methods, different tricks that keep you focused on your goal every day. As you start getting to those goals and you start creating those, like hitting those benchmarks, you have to have new goals and new things that you want to do and create. And I think it becomes harder to stay focused on that, later on in your career, because sometimes those things you would have only dreamed about before become second nature and they become easier. So I think but it's still super important to work on yourself. So no matter where you're at in the journey, if you even remotely buy into the principles of personal development and laws of, the law of attraction and things like that, you really need to focus on just working on yourself in whatever fashion that may take. Some people just meditate. It's meditation. It might be fitness, but it's whatever you can do to clear your mind and work on yourself harder than you're working on everything else. Because when you improve yourself, it's going to make these goals seem minuscule years down the line.
Jason, I love that philosophy. I love that idea and that mindset. I mean, that is huge, and that's so important to what we're doing, and to success is to have some sort of a blueprint. You don't have to follow Jason's, but like he said, try something. There's something out there that works for you, and make it a part of your routine. Something that you are consistently doing every day to yield you the results. Guys, how you do anything is how you do everything. So work on your personal development, like Jason is saying, so that you can become a better person. You want to become a more attractive person, and that doesn't mean that you look pretty. That means that you are a more attractive person because you contain knowledge and information, and you're able to apply it, or utilize it and be a resource for those around you. So Jason, I love what you just said. That is huge.
Thank you. Sorry.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, guys, as a reminder, at any point in the show, if you like what you're hearing, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the show so that you don't miss an episode. Now, your engagement is what drives us and keeps us doing this for the community for free. So, Jason, I mean, what do you think your life would be like if you never realized that you didn't want to work for someone for the rest of your life and you were still working in the medical field?
I'd probably be dead by now, to be honest with you.
Wow.
So I and and I don't know if I'm over exaggerating that or not, but I know when I was starting out and we were buying rental properties, 15, 20 years. Well, we started in 2001, right before 9/11. And I remember, I was working in sales and I saw, middle-aged, must have been 50, 60 years old, well, not good with ages, but at the time, and he was a sales guy, and I saw this guy and I said, man, he looks miserable, and I said, I don't want to be like that. And I knew the toll that, at least for me, working for somebody else was taking, the stress, um, what it did to how I reacted to that stress, and what that translated into terms of my ability to be a good husband, be a good father. I had a health scare a couple of years ago, and that really put a lot of things into perspective. And I think a lot of so it was a heart condition. I'm not afraid to share that, but it could have been brought about by stress. They may think it was a virus, but was my immune system compromised because I was just running 1,000 miles an hour and not getting the nutrition and the rest that I needed, because I was trying, working 60, 70, 80 hours a week at times, just to chase a dollar, and so I think that if I was just on that corporate path and just chasing that dollar, you can trade your life just not really improving your lot in life. You can make a good paycheck and get promotions and do all those things, but what type of fulfilling life can you live when you work for yourself? You can give back to your community. You can participate in causes that are near and dear to your heart. You can spend time with your family while you're still young and healthy, as opposed to waiting until you're 70 years old and want a gold watch and, probably have a litany of health issues at that point. So I think for me, I have zero complaints. I'm very blessed and grateful for the life that real estate has provided us. And I just couldn't imagine it any other way. Well, I can imagine it another way, and I don't like the thought of that. So I just love the life that this has helped create.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the freedom, the financial freedom, the ability to be able to give back to, charities or causes that you're passionate about. There's so many things that come along with, being your own self-made, so to speak. And
Yeah.
it's like Ross says, everyone is self-made. It's only the millionaires or the successful people who admit it,
Mhm.
So I love what you're saying. I really like how you have taken full control of your own destiny, even with the health scares. I mean, you said, hey, listen, I'm not sure if that's the cause or not, but it couldn't have, helped me, running 100 miles per hour, 60, 80 hours a week on a continual basis. That couldn't have contributed to anything positive to that. So,
Right.
I mean, you figured that out. Like you said, you put things into perspective and made a change. And I love it, guys. I love it. Well, Jason, that takes us into the next piece of our show, or the program, where we actually ask you a series of questions. We call it the rapid fire session.
Okay.
Now, all you do is just answer the question, the first thing that comes to your mind, or whatever you like to say, and it's pretty easy breezy. Ready to
All right.
rock and roll? Let's
I'm
do
ready.
it. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strict were your parents, Jason?
8.
Get up early, stay up late.
Both.
How many hours of sleep do you get?
8.
Favorite or last book read?
Favorite book is Poor Charlie's Almanac, which is a compilation of speeches and wisdom from Charlie Munger of Berkshire Hathaway.
Awesome. If you could be any superhero, Jason, who would it be?
Oh boy. Give me a second. Black Panther.
Great one.
Yeah.
Something everyone should do less of.
Worry.
Something everyone should do more of.
Listen.
Bitcoin, bang or bust.
Bust.
And Jason, will people live on Mars in your lifetime?
No.
Gotcha. Well, that concludes our rapid fire session, and I really appreciate you, being a great sport on that. Now, guys, you have made it to the end of the show. Most people don't finish what they start, so you're special. Now, if you got any value out of the show, please share it with a friend or on your Facebook page. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and send us topics you want to learn more about. And like I said earlier, millions of people use the Connected Investor social network and marketplace to connect. In the description of this episode, we've included a link to this episode's forum discussion. Tap that link, ask me, ask other pros questions, and see what the investors are saying about this episode right here. Until the next episode, you can catch me inside Connected Investors. See you on the inside, guys.
The Connected Investors app connects you with investors, notifies you of available properties, helps locate cash buyers, and secure private funding to close deals. Set up in seconds to become a member of the Connected Investors social network. Now you can scroll through your main feed to find cash buyers, see investment properties not available to the general public, and network with investors by adding your own comments to a thread to keep the conversation going. The Control Center is your connection to add properties to sell, start new discussions, connect with local investors, and even find private funding. The Notifications tab will keep you alerted to new investment properties and offers. You'll also find new friend requests to connect directly with the community to build your network. From the property marketplace, you'll be able to find, favorite, and make offers on investment properties. Download Connected Investors today to find, figure, fund, and flip investment properties on the go.